Hello, welcome to my presentation. The topic I have chosen is backups and their impact on society. So, first up, what are backups? The definition I will use in my presentation for backups is a copy of your consciousness that can be used either in the future to replace you after you died or to create a copy of yourself that can actually live alongside you. It would be easy to link many benefits for having a backup, but the main thing is that you're not able to die, making you basically immortal and removing the fear of death. You could also be transported across the universe way faster than we're able to do now when we start living on different planets. The reason I chose this topic is because I'm worried about the future in which backups exist. This will become clear as we go through this presentation. The question I'm trying to answer here is what can we do against backups and how should we be prepared for them? But first we need to know what can backups do to our society. I will give two examples, one is from fiction and one is from non-fiction. My first example of a backup is in real life. It's about a 14-year-old girl who decided to cryogenically freeze her brain after she died of cancer. This backup was only created after her death, and it's not certain that she will be brought back in her real body. But in the future, she hopes that she can be sort of resurrected and essentially even become immortal, because this could be redone many times over, of course. Through the course of this presentation, you will see that this might not have been the smartest idea for this girl. My next example is about is about backups in altered carbon. This is a very unique way for backups to be implemented in society as far as fiction goes. The way it works in altered carbon is that everyone is already able to store their consciousness in what they call a stack on the backside of their neck. Whenever they die, they can simply change the stack onto a new body. On top of that, very rich people can pay for a certain service that backs up their consciousness in a cloud, and if they die and lose their bodies, they can simply be downloaded back into a new body. The man you see here is Bancroft. He's one of these very rich men, and what he's about to do is he's about to kill himself and blow up his stack. The way uh, the backups work, because the way the backups work in Altered Carbon, and specifically in his case, is that every 24 hours his consciousness is uploaded to the cloud. So what he will do is erase memories from the past 24 hours so that he does not remember killing someone, which is really ashamed of. So when you see this, there are many things to think about here. Like, is the person that is being downloaded again into a new body the same person that killed a woman? It's hard to ethically judge which is right in this case. In the show, he's arrested for murdering this woman, but is being arrested enough. I mean, you can lock him up for thousands of years and he would still be able to live because his consciousness is on the stack. Some people could even make the case that the person downloaded from the cloud is not the same person that killed the woman. Is it actually right to blame him then? So what if someone downloaded a copy of him to a new sleeve and tortured him and after that even killed him? Would that count as murder? Since the original one is still alive. But and you can start seeing the problem here. Going back to the girl in my first example, they could give her a body that works perfectly fine and let her live a nice life. But then they could also download her consciousness into many different bodies sent sent out for many different types of experiments without her knowing. So how is this all connected to Sigmund Freud? For that, I want you to do a simple thought experiment. Imagine yourself being backed up in a cloud service and your consciousness is quantified. The second this happens, you are no longer a unique being, since if you would die, then you could be replaced by yourself. There is no longer just one of you in this world. This thought alone is already very uncanny and links perfectly to Freud's uncanny double. Imagine what would happen if you were able to meet this backup. Your position in the world, in our society, would be threatened by it. This can and will make you fear this double. And now the relationship to Heidegger. With the implementation of backups, human life is just becoming a standing reserve, and if we start treating life as the standing reserves, then our future will be very, very grim. Imagine this utilitarian world where humans are experimented on to improve the lives of the greater good, for the they, as Heidegger calls them. A life where we treat our human bodies and lives as we treat nature currently, just destroying it and abusing it for our own benefits. This will only happen if this technology falls into wrong hands, and if such technology exists, I'm sure someone somewhere will at least try to use it for their own benefits. How to fix it? Some possible solutions. It's very uncertain how everything will develop once we're able to have backups, of course. Implementing it will most likely start with the wealthiest countries and then slowly, as people start accepting it more and more, spread across the Earth or even the galaxy by that point. First of all, to get the cloning out of the way, we could implement a way that whenever someone clones someone or themselves, their data is removed and they won't be able to back up ever again. This would also be actually a death sentence since they will live their last life. This will require a strong investigation team, but I hope by that time it won't be a problem to implement it. The next problem will be hard to solve, is how we will treat human lives after backups are implemented. The law should be adjusted all over the world and universe to make sure no one can abuse people endlessly. Imagine what a dictator could do to his people. Endless slavery, endless torture. That's why I suggest people should start uh, screening people before they are allowed to have a backup and have a central government that can revoke backups from criminals if they are trying to abuse the backup system. In the end, I do feel like that if backups are implemented in the right way, it could be the start of a new era of humanity and an era in which humans can flourish to their maximum potential. And with that, I will conclude my presentation.